Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're feeling well. It's nice to be able to check in with you again today. And I'd like to check in with you about something new we're going to be doing in the days ahead. And what we're about to do is something that we'd like to call online chavurot. A chavurah might be a term that you've heard before, and you may know the root of it from a way in which I address you on a regular basis when I write to you in temple topics or in our weekly emails or when we send out notices from the congregation. I address the community as chevre, meaning group of friends. And it shares the same root with the word chaver for friend. And the word chavurah is an ancient term which comes from this very same root word. Of a group of friends. A chavurah is a group of friends. Its first appearance as a term in Jewish tradition comes in the Talmud when talking about Passover, which is coming up in just a few weeks. And in the Torah, we're commanded, each of us in biblical times, to take a lamb and make a sacrifice, each family. But if each family can't afford its own lamb, we're supposed to gather together with our neighbors. The Talmud tells us that this group of neighbors who gathered together to make the Passover sacrifice and share in the Passover lamb was called a chavurah. And the Talmud tells us that the first kind of early iterations of the Passover Seder came out of the Chavurah, these groups of friends. As best as we can tell from historians, the Chavurot were kind of like eating clubs or social clubs with Jewish material at the center of whatever it was that was being done. So it's no surprise that the Seder, a ritual whose centerpiece is eating and special foods, began with the Chavurah. But you know lots of other traditions which have come out of the Chavurah, lots of them centered around food, but not all of them. Lots of home rituals, like what do we do to end Shabbat? We make Havdalah. The prayers that became Havdalah came out of the Chavurah. Why? Because it happens on Shabbat, a day where people weren't at work, where they could gather together with their friends. And it happened in between Seudah Shlishit, the third meal on Shabbat, and when evening and the new week began. Also Kiddush, to begin Shabbat, the blessing over the cup of wine. The Torah tells us that we're supposed to sanctify the Sabbath day, but it doesn't tell us how. It's the rabbis during the Chavurah era that put words to it and make a blessing out of the sanctification of the day and add wine. So maybe it was an eating club, a drinking club, a social club. We're not totally sure, but we do know that lots of the home rituals that we have now came out of that. It's also different from the Beit Midrash, the study hall, or the Beit Knesset, the synagogue. There's no beit, there's no house associated with a chavurah because it probably was able to move from place to place wherever Jews and friends could gather together. That's where the chavurah met. The reason I tell you all of this is because we're going to be starting our own version of Chavurot online this week. We know that it's really hard to be stuck inside, to not have contact with our friends and our neighbors the way in which we've become accustomed. And so each day, at least for the next little while, we're going to have a kind of drop-in Chavurah set up online using an online platform called Zoom. If you're not familiar with it yet, I'm sure you will be very soon. And they'll be run by different members of our staff community. And anyone who wants to drop in and talk and converse and share how they're feeling, how they're doing, you're more than welcome to. Some of them will have a topic or a theme. Others will just be an opportunity for us to check in with one another. They'll be at different times of day. And maybe, like our chavurot, you might be invited to bring a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or to sit and have your lunch or to just be together so that we can share. It's an opportunity for us to be able to at least see one another if we can't physically be in each other's presence. And we hope that it will accomplish the very same thing that the Chavurot did, was to build community in a new and different way. We hope you'll build that community with us and help us by participating. I continue to wish you well. Please do reach out to us if you need anything at any time. And we look forward to seeing you very soon in our Chavurot. Bye.